Welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can design this flyer for a perfume brand using your smartphone. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more design tips and inspiration. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below. And to my returning viewers, thank you so much for your continued support. Okay, so now let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we'll be doing now is to introduce our background to this design interface. And for the course of this video, we'll be making use of this default size on PixelLab, which is a 1:1. Okay, then we'll go over to color to add our gradient color. Okay, so for the first part of this, we'll be making use of a purple color. So we'll just go over to we'll go over to type in the hex code of the color we'll be using, and let me go ahead to type in 1C. Okay, so this will be the black purple black color for the outer side we'll be using, and for the inner side we'll go over to impute the color, and the color will be BB 07B5. okay, so this is the color we'll be using for background. This is our background color, is a gradient color. So we head over to introduce the pupil to be using. So we'll go over to import, and this is the PNG image of the pupil I'll be using. Okay, so let me just go over to relative size to increase it. Okay, I've done this before, so that is how I was able to get this accurately. So after we've introduced this, we'll just go over to our layers and we'll be locking it. So we'll go ahead now to introduce the image of the perfume we'll be using. Okay, and I'll be leaving all the elements in the description, so at the end of the video you can go ahead to download them. Okay, so we'll go over to import, and this is the image. We'll just introduce this and we'll leave it like this. Okay, so we'll be reducing the size of this image. We'll go over to relative size and we'll be adjusting the size to 39. Okay, this size is okay. So after we've done this, we'll go over to rotate. And we'll be rotating this to -15. We'll be setting it to -15. Okay, and after we've done that, the next thing we'll head over to color filters, because if you can see, the color of the perfume and the background is not really blending, though you can use it, but for the course of this design I want everything to be bringing this purple feel to it, or magenta color feel. Okay, so we'll head over to color filter. Okay, so this is color filter, and we'll be adjusting the hue to -54. Be adjusting it to -54. Okay, so this color is okay for this. Okay, and I'll just go ahead to adjust this and bring this here a little. Let me just take it to this side. Okay, so after we've done this, I'll go ahead to copy this. I'll copy this, and the purpose of me copying this is to use this particular image to create a shadow for the perfume PNG. Okay, so we'll rotate it to 90 degrees. So let's go over to rotate it to 90. Okay, and once we've rotated this to 90, we'll just go over to color and we'll be adding a black color to this. So we're changing this to black, and just change it to black. And after that, we'll head over to our 3D rotate, and we'll be rotating the y-axis only to -79 degree. Okay, and this is okay. And from here we'll just go ahead to reduce this and place it here. Okay, we can go ahead to also reduce it a little further and place it here. Okay, so let me take this, we'll go over to layers, and I'll be taking this shadow behind the original image like this. Then we'll go over to our position tool and we'll just adjust this a little bit. I think we are going to reduce the size of this, okay, and we'll just adjust it here. Okay, so I'll advise you do this until you get something similar or something perfect, and after that we'll head over to our opacity and we'll be reducing our opacity till it looks okay. Let's see this. Okay, we'll leave it as, let me check what is the opacity percentage. We'll be leaving it as 22%. Okay, and we'll go over to our layers and we'll be locking this up. So after that we'll be adding a vertical shape to this. So we'll head over to our shape and we'll be making use of this square shape. We'll just go ahead to reduce this and just increase this until it reaches here. Okay, so once we've done this, we'll go over to rotate and we'll be rotating this to 5. We'll be setting the angle as 5 degrees. Okay, and we'll just leave it here, and after that we'll be sending this to back, and we've achieved something like this. Okay, so now we'll be adding images of perfume to this space we've provided, but before I do that, I'll be locking this so we'll not be interfering with this any longer. So we'll be adding images of perfumes to this. And how do we do that? We'll head over to our imports. We'll go over to import and we'll be importing the image of the perfumes we'll be using. Let me just import everything so it'll be faster. Be working with this, and finally be working with this. Okay, so now we have the images of the perfume we'll be using. So for the first one, which is this, I'm just going to reduce the size. You can actually use your hand to reduce the size, or you head over to your relative size to do that. Okay, so but I'll be making use of my hand, and after I've placed this over here, I will go over to rotate, and we'll be rotating this to 5 degrees so it will be aligned with the original shape we created. And I'll just go ahead to increase this a little bit, and I'll be using our position to adjust this, and I'll be taking this up. Okay, so but before I continue, I'll go ahead to crop some part I don't need from the design. So let me just go ahead to reduce this downside and the upper side. Okay, so we have this, and we'll be making use of position tool again to align this, and I'll be increasing the size of this image. Okay, and adjust it over here. Okay, so that is okay. So we'll select the second image and we'll do same to it. We'll rotate this by 5. So we'll go over to rotate. We'll be rotating it by 5 degrees, and we'll just reduce the size of this and reduce the size, and we'll be placing this over here. Okay, so we'll be doing same for the last image. We'll reduce it and we'll be rotating it by 5. So we'll go over to rotate and we'll be rotating this by 5, and we'll just reduce it again and place it here. Don't worry about the alignment for now. After we are done, then we'll go over to layers to send them to back, so the image of our perfume PNG will be visible. Okay, so we'll just have to adjust this here, and this is okay. So now we've done this, we'll just be sending these images here to the back. We'll be sending it be sending it behind the puppet PNG. Okay, and also do same for this one until we are left with this. Okay, so after that we'll select the image of the perfumes, and we'll just be taking them up. We'll be adjusting it this way, okay, until we have this, and after that we'll just lock everything. Okay, so we are done with this part, with this side of the design. Now we have to focus on this part, and the first thing I'll be doing for this part, I'll be adding a shape here. So I'll go over to our shapes, and I will just increase the size and place it over here. I'll place it over here. Okay, and we'll go over to rotate, and we'll be rotating this, let's see, by, we'll rotate this by 8. Let's leave it by 8, and let's place it here. So let me zoom this so you can see it. I'll be placing it at the edge of the pulpit, which is this, and that is okay. So let me zoom back normally. Okay, so after we've done that, we'll make use of the position tool, and we'll just be taking this down a little. Take this down and adjust here. Okay, and this is okay. So we'll go ahead to layers and we'll be locking it. So for this part, we'll be writing in our contact info here. Okay, so I'll just go ahead to click on the shape you added, and I will duplicate it. So I'll just click on copy, and I'll be adding a color to this. So I'll head over to color, and I'll be selecting a light color for this. Okay, let me make use of this color. Okay, so this particular shape you added the color, we'll just go over to reduce the size. We'll be reducing the size of this, and let's just increase the length, and we'll be rotating this to -5. So we'll just go over to rotate, and be rotating it to, sorry, we'll be rotating it to -8. Okay, and we'll be placing it here. But before we do that, we'll just go ahead to ensure that it extends to the edge of the design, and we'll just go ahead to reduce this a little bit, and let's place it over here. Okay, and we'll be sending this to back. We'll be sending it to back, so just go to back, and this is okay. So it looks like the color of this is interfering with the background, so let's select a brighter color for this. Let's see how this color looks. Okay, this color is okay for this, so we'll be making use of this color. We'll be making use of this color, and we'll just go over to layers, and we'll be locking this particular shape we added. Okay, so now after we've done that, we'll be writing in, or we'll be typing in the brand name. So I'll just go over to text tool, and I'll be adding a text to that. So let me write perfect. Okay, and I'll be increasing the size of this to 70. So let's just increase this to 70, and we'll go over to fonts to select a suitable font for this particular design and text. Okay, so we'll go over to fonts, and we'll be making use of this fog lighting no 7 font. We'll make use of this font, and we'll be making use of the position tool to just adjust this downward. Okay, and we'll duplicate this, we'll copy this, and the text we copied will just be imputing scent. So that is perfect scent, and we'll be reducing the size of this particular text. We'll reduce the size to 63 and ensure it's aligned. Okay, let's give it some spacing. Okay, so after this, we'll be introducing a line underneath this scent. But before we do that, we'll go over to layers to lock the text, and we'll go ahead to introduce our shape. And we'll just reduce this and reduce this like this, and we'll head over to color, and we'll be imputing the hash code of the yellow color we'll be using. And the hash code of the color we'll be using is E97, then E9FF00. Okay, this is the color we'll be using. Just go ahead to, okay, and we have this. Then we will just adjust this using the position tool to this. Okay, so this is coming out well. This is coming out well. And the next thing we'll be doing now is to add a little write-up underneath this line. So we'll just go ahead to our text tool again, and I have it copied. Let me just impute this here, and we'll go ahead to reduce the size. We'll be reducing the size of this. We won't be changing the font of this. We'll be leaving the fonts as the normal default fonts in PixelLab. Okay, then we'll go ahead to our size. Let's just reduce the size of this. And this is okay. This is okay. So for this open space, we'll be typing in the product, but before we do that, we'll go over to layers to lock this, and we'll be introducing a shape here. Okay, so once we've introduced this shape here, we'll head over to color. We'll be changing the color of this, and we'll be making use of a gradient color. So for this part, let's just impute the first color, which is B60 and 7B0. Sorry for that. B60 7B0. Okay, and for this other part, we'll go ahead to impute the second color, and which is okay, and we'll just be adjusting it here. We'll be taking the lighter color to the right, and we have this. We'll go over to inner shadow, and we'll be taking the radius, the blur radius to 15. We'll be selecting white color, and this is it. And okay, this is the effect we want on the shape, and we'll be adding the product into the shape. Okay, then the next thing we'll be doing now is to just type in the product, and let me do that quickly. And we'll be selecting a light font for this particular text. So we'll go over to fonts, let's see how this font looks like. Okay, this is okay, and we'll just adjust this here. Okay, so we'll go ahead to copy this. We'll copy this, and we'll be editing this. We'll just go ahead to delete this, and we'll be typing in product. And for this, we'll go ahead to change the font of the product text, and let's select a much lighter font. Okay, this is okay, and we'll be changing the color of this font. Okay, let me make this visible so you can see this, and bring it here, and we'll head over to color, and we'll be imputing the hex code of the color we'll be using, and we'll be making use of the color 420240. Okay, it's looking dark, so we'll be adding highlights to it. So we'll go over to background, be adding a background to it, and we'll be selecting white as the background, and we'll go over to the background to add radius, and just take the radius to 3 or 4. Let's leave it as 4, and we'll be reducing the size of this, and making use of the position tool, we'll just place this here. Okay, so this is becoming nice, and we'll head over to layers again to lock the images here. And now we'll be adding a glow effect behind this perfume image. So how we're going to do that? The first thing we'll be doing, we'll go ahead to our shapes. We'll be introducing a circle shape to this. Okay, sorry, we'll be leaving it as square, and we'll be increasing the radius of this shape. We'll be increasing the radius to 100, and we'll go over to opacity. We'll take the opacity to 24 degree, and we'll be selecting a color for this. So we'll go over to color, and we'll be imputing the color's hex code into this, and the color hex code for this will be BB07B5. Okay, then moving downwards, we'll be adding a stroke to this. Okay, we'll be introducing a stroke to this. So we'll just take the stroke to the highest, which is 40, and we'll be increasing the blur radius of the stroke, and we'll also be adding color to this particular stroke, and the color we'll be adding is a purple or magenta color. Okay, so this is it. So we'll just go ahead to reduce this, and we'll reduce this and place it here. We'll reduce it and place it here. Then we'll head over to layers, and we'll be sending it behind the perfume image. So we'll just be sending this behind here, and that is it. Okay, let's adjust this. So it's going to look as though the perfume is emitting like a purple ray or something like that. Okay, let's place it here for now, and we'll go over to layers, and we'll be locking that also. And now for this part, we'll be adding an effect to this. We'll be adding a blood effect to this part, and the first thing we'll be doing for that, we'll go over to shapes, and we'll increase the radius of this shape to 100, and we'll be leaving the opacity as 22%. So just go ahead to take the opacity to 22%, and we'll be adding a color to this. Okay, let's confirm. Yes, we'll be adding this color to this, and we'll head over to stroke. We'll be increasing the stroke width to 40, and we'll be adding a custom color to the stroke, which is this color that has the hex code BB07B5. Okay, and we'll be increasing the blur radius. Okay, so after we've done that, we'll just click on good, and the next thing we'll be doing now, we'll head over to shadow, and we'll add a shadow to this, and we'll be taking the shadow, we'll be leaving the shadow as 10, the blur radius of the shadow as 10, and we'll be selecting this color as the shadow, which is the magenta color, and we'll be moving over to inner shadow. Also we'll enable, and we'll be leaving the blur radius as 10, and for this we'll be selecting a different color, and the hex code for the color will be A706A1. okay, so this is the hex code. You just enable it and click on OK. So this is it, the effect I wanted to create, and we'll just reduce this and place it over here. Okay, so let's reduce the size of this and place it here. Okay, but finally for this, we'll go ahead, we'll be adding a stroke to this. So click on stroke, we'll enable it, just increase the stroke radius to 16, and we'll be adding this color, and we'll be placing this over here. So we'll go ahead to copy this. We'll copy this, and we'll be placing this part. We'll be placing this part at the right side of the design, and we'll be leaving this here. Okay, so the effect we added behind the perfume image, we'll go ahead to just duplicate it. We'll click on it to copy, and we'll be placing it down here. But before we place it here, we'll go over to edit to enable the opacity, and we'll be placing it over here. Okay, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to add a write-up to this line we created, and I'll just go over to the text tool, and the write-up we'll be adding is order now. And for this, we'll go over to font to change the text. And we'll be making use of this jumper personal use font, and we'll go over to size to reduce the size of that. Let's leave the size as 17, and we'll just rotate this and place it here. Okay, or we'll go over to the rotate tool to rotate this to 8. Just leave it as 8, sorry, -8. And let's increase the size of this. We'll be increasing the size to, let's leave it as 20. Okay, so from this we'll go ahead to copy, and we'll place the other one down here. And we'll go ahead to copy this, and we'll be placing the other one at the right part. We'll be using the position tool to just adjust this. Okay, so for this one that is coming in front of the pulpit, or we'll be taking it to the back, we'll be sending it behind the image. So this, it will be sending it behind this image, and we have this. Okay, so now we've done that, we'll go ahead to lock our elements in the layer. And finally, for this down part, we'll be typing in the contact info. So let me quickly do that so you can see. Okay, so these are the icons we'll be using for our contact info. So for this, we'll just go ahead to color, and we'll be selecting this dark purple color. So this is the hex code. We'll just select this, and we'll be selecting it also for the call icon. So we'll just go ahead to color to select it. And now we'll be reducing the size of this, doing that with my hand. You can also go to the relative size tool to do that. Sorry. Okay, so now for this, we'll head over to relative size to just reduce the size to 9, and we'll be doing same for the location icon. And we'll be adjusting this. Okay, we'll be adjusting this until they are aligned. We'll go over to layer to select the icon, the call icon, and we'll be reducing the size again until we have this. Okay, so, and let me just go ahead to type in something random. So for the location, let me just type in YouTube, and we'll be taking it down, and we'll go over to color and be selecting this, the same color we use for the icon, and we'll be changing the font of that text. So we'll go over to font to add a font to that, and we'll be making use of semi-bold font. We're making use of this font, and we'll go over to our size tool to reduce the size of this. Let's leave it at 17, and we'll just be placing it here. So let me just go ahead to increase this. Go ahead to copy this, and we'll go over to our relative position tool to just send this down, and we'll be editing this. Let me just write Tonyz designs. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me just place this there, and that's just all the contact info I'll be adding for now. Since this is a fictional flyer, I'm just using to teach you guys how to do this. Okay, and we'll go ahead to copy this, and let me just type in contacts. I'll use the relative position to send this downwards, and we'll go ahead to background, and we're adding this same color as the background, and we'll be changing the color of the text to white. So I'll just go ahead to select white color, and that is it. And let's just place this at the top here, and we'll go ahead to the background again to add a radius. We'll be increasing the radius to 3, and we'll be reducing the size of this. Okay, and we'll be placing it here. So okay, this looks too big. Let me just reduce the size. So you can go ahead to add whatever information you want to add on this white space. So this is just a tutorial. Okay, so this is how to create this flyer for a perfume brand using your smartphone. Thank you for watching to the end. If you gained value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.